Allows you to do all the flight announcements, all these different programs. You can customize all the buttons, and let me log into the thing so it's got a screen on it. You can log into it. What I did is log in as American Airlines, and it actually has 2 flight sequences up on it, and we have enough wire here, I think, to pass it around. So.
That is a live mic, so
Yeah, you pick the mic up, push the button, and or off.
PoE power.
It's all standard Ethernet cable, powered over the Ethernet. You can either run PoE switches, you can run mid-span power, or you can actually hook up a wall wart to it. Any of those things. The mic's held on the front of the station there with a magnet that's on the back of the mic. If you just tilt it a little bit, it comes off very easy.
it's rolling.
Yeah. Nobody wants to talk.
No.
Coming down the network, the announcement control system that you have, this is a small version of it, and it's all digital. The differences in the processor in here are they don't have hard drives; they got high-speed flash drives on them, and it's 100 base T instead of the ones that you all have are 10 base T. But other than that, it's basically the same type processor and all. Audio out of there, if you keyed the mic now, it doesn't go through the ACS. It's controlled by the ACS. It just goes down the network. And the power amplifier section is this here. This is each 200 watt channels. There's 8 amplifiers and a backup. Each one of them are dual 200 watts. So you got 16 channels of amplifiers, equalization, ambient noise, all that stuff's all in one frame. So, and the only wires out of the back are the speaker wires and one network cable. So that takes you all the way through what you have now. All of this stuff is backward compatible. You can hook these mic stations to the current ACS you have. All we have to do, I don't think, they don't have a 510 in card. Or do
They're all in cards.
Yeah,
Every NCS is in.
You don't have you have N cards?
In all NCSs.
They got an N card, they got one N card, and
In
that's
each
connected to
NCS.
3 ACSs together. So we start using mic stations and all, we need to add one more 510 N card to it. And that's the interface between amplifiers, mics, and everything. So each ACS would have dual 510 N cards, just a plug-in card that goes in the slot. And the ambient noise, do they have ambient noise sensors now?
540s, yes.
540s.
Mhm.
The ambient noise sensing is all in here, and this one box there is a collector part. You can plug 32 of the sensors in it, and it hangs on the network. The music you heard was fed into a little box like this. We use those a lot. A lot of these food courts have them. Put them in food courts, you put them in gift shops where they want to play their own music, yet we want to have speakers and all in there that if we have an emergency announcements, we override their music and all. That runs on standard Ethernet cable. It's not Ethernet, but it comes into the back of one of the boxes. Then this way they can plug their own CD player, their own music in, got their own volume control, and we just duck it when all that happens. So if we need the system, we got it. And most of the new airports we're doing put this in food courts and different. Some of the bigger shops and all have not every shop. I've never seen an airport. I don't think we have one that's got it in every shop. But we've got a lot of airports that's got maybe 20 or 25 of those boxes, and they can all have their own music and play whatever they want. They don't like the airport's background music, and it's got gain and all in it, so any standard CD player will work fine with it, and they can crank it up. We were at one airport and put it in the bar, and the guy in the bar didn't want it because he said it wouldn't get loud enough and all. So I turned it all the way up and hit the play button. Here he come running. Oh, it's too loud. Then he said, that sounds a lot better than what I had. In the amplifiers, if one amplifier fails, it automatically switches to a backup amp. That's the Titan series amps. You have backup amp switching now. I'm
Yes.
curious. So that's, it's similar. What you have, there was a lot of wiring required. There's no
all
wiring
general.
at all required. All the monitor tests, everything's in here. We test all the circuits in there. We test the input, the output of the amps. We test the current on the speaker lines. We test ground faults. I can chart out either side of the speaker line, and it'll give us a ground fault, tell us where it is. And we've got an end of the line device that will checks the integrity of the wire. So how many of y'all are familiar with the new mass notification 2572 that's supposed to be out by early next year? It's an NFPA, it's going to become part of NFPA 72, and it's for mass notification. A bunch of committees are putting this all together now. I've got a copy of the preliminary report. It has an intelligibility rating. There will not be any waivers for intelligibility. 100% supervision, there are no waivers for that. Some other things, you can get waivers for pieces of it from the local fire marshal law. But this is going to be the new NFPA 72, so you can, the PA system and the visuals displays become the part of the fire alarm system. So the fire alarm's over here with smoke detectors and all, but the audible part and the visual part will all come out of this. So NFPA, the new NFPA 72, it's mass notification 2572 if you wanted to look that up. How many left-handers we got in here? I'm left-handed. You notice other left-handers? David? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hey, we might be in the minority here. Majority.
For once.
I've been a lot involved with this mass notification 2572. We're taking all of our products through that for the certification. And 864 is still part of it as far as power supplies, I'm not sure power amplifiers are still in it, but power supplies, things like that are all still part of 864, UL 864. Not sure, did they take the amplifiers got a different number now, like power amplifiers? Can't remember right all. There's so many numbers involved in this thing that it all runs together after a while. The part that we play a big part in is all these announcements that we play, we run text on these screens. The government ran a survey in 2007, and I never could get anything but the results out, but they said if you have an announcement going out here over the speakers, assuming it's intelligible, approximately 30% of the people actually get what it said. If I take visuals and I put up something visual in an area, 25 or 30% of the people, assuming it's big enough where they can read it, get what it said. If I run one where the audio and the video are at the same time, not abbreviated, in sync, 90% of the people get it. They also said if I run one that's audio and I got video going that's different from, it's not in sync, it's abbreviated and all, only about 15 or 20% of people get it then, because they get confused with what they're reading and what they're hearing, and they don't get any of it. So they're saying if it isn't in sync exactly, you don't use both of them, only use one. But part of the mass notification things is requiring people to visually see, especially in emergency announcements. Every screen that you have should be, whatever we're playing out here, telling people to do things, should be matched up on those screens. Word for word. Make sure that everybody gets it. Well, let's see, this is 2009. It was the summer of 2007. They went around to 10 major airports and asked them for their mass notification plan. Were you all part of that?
No, not to my knowledge.
Huh?
Not to my knowledge.
Well, all 10 airports failed.
Okay.
They didn't even have a plan. I mean, what the plan was required was every type of emergency you have to have a plan for it. What are we going to do with the people? So you have to list every kind of emergency you're gonna have, and then you have to, under each one of those, say, okay, in this area, we're gonna do this with the people, in this area, we're gonna do this. Philadelphia got cited for not having it, and they went into a panic mode because they weren't even sure what they got cited for. But I went over there for a meeting, sat in there with the mayor and people off the city council and all, and the fire marshal, at the airport, and the city's fire marshal. And I said, really, all they're asking for is you to have a plan. And I just explained to them what I did. And the fire marshal said, well, I can come up with all the emergencies. And other people said, well, we can come up with what we do. And so they got their plan together. Now they're getting funding to do all that. They have an IED system, but they don't have the messages in place. There's a lot of things they don't have all the supervision in place that they should have. But at least they have a plan now. And that's part of the goal of this mass notification thing is, and airports, transit are really high on their list to make sure that these people all get a plan together, so if they have an emergency, or what they say is when they have an emergency, if's not the right word, they say when, we do the right things. It's how we look to the news media in the morning if something happens. We did a good job. How often do you all have an evacuation, or have you ever had a total evacuation for the weather or anything?
No, we didn't evacuate though. We were on. Yeah, we were on alert. We haven't had a full evacuate. Well, I should say the ticket we evacuated earlier this year, but
I was
not very often.
I was at Cincinnati last summer. Sort of and they already have our equipment. I was trying to get their mass notification started out. It wasn't it wasn't real high on their list to do any of this. And I had put some weather evacuation messages in the system. And I explained to them what I had in there, and they said, well, we've never evacuated, had to evacuate. That very day, I'm training in airlines on how to use this flight announcement I'm going to show you. And one of the security guys came by and said, we've really got some bad weather, it looks like it's coming through here. We may need to evacuate. Wasn't 15 minutes, he said, all right, what do? We got to evacuate. We could have a tornado right on this airport.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I can do it right here. And I started for the whole airport. They evacuated 7,000 something people underground. It took 18 minutes. I had a stopwatch and I timed it. The messages started playing. I got them playing continuously. They played 3 or 4 times before anybody did anything. I mean, they're just sitting there. And finally you start seeing some people start moving. But we got all the passengers off the planes, underground, all the tenants, everything was closed. We had a tornado go right over the top of the airport, another one a mile from the airport on the ground. And really, really heavy rain, flooding a lot of things around. And then I found out the next day wasn't knowing what to do. They never even planned on doing this. Now, fortunately, if they hadn't evacuated, nobody would have got hurt because nothing hit the building. But it could have. If you get a tornado on the ground at an airport, you're going to have airplane parts everywhere.
Correct.
I mean, stuff's going to be all over the place. I don't know of an airport do we know of a major airport that's had a tornado go through it? I mean, it's,
Airport did here.
We had one, yeah, we had one touchdown on a corner of the airport.
yeah, but didn't get any airplanes or anything.
No.
I was going to say, because, airports are, flat areas that are sort of like trailer parks. Okay, any questions on that?
Not so far.
You're going to get your mass notification plan together?
Look,
I will be glad to help you in any way I can. You have our sound system here, and I can help you with that part of it.
Sounds good.
So you just, what I can't help you with is you tell me what kind of emergencies you could have and what you're going to do with them. But I can help you get all the messages together and put it all together, so if you have this, you just have to go do this.
I think right now we have some of the messages set up on the system for like tornado warnings.
Yeah.
We have those preset and with instructions on how to enable and disable that.
Yeah,
But there's some other stuff that needs to be
okay,
added.
if we had a tornado warning, where do you tell the people to go?
Well, there's a plan for that.
Yeah, we have a severe weather evacuation plan.
But do you have a message that tells them in each area where to go?
No, that's
That's why I can help you with that. See, I did that in Cincinnati for each piece of the airport, because I knew what their plan was to send people, so I had different messages playing in different places.
So based on the song, you specify
Right.
a message to go to a specific
Yes.
audience.
Yeah, it took me 30 seconds to get all that running. What we also have, you've had security breaches where you had to evacuate. There's a set of messages in here that you all can have in your system, where we close security checkpoint, play a message that says security checkpoint's closed, start playing messages out in airside, so we evacuate airside. Then when all that's over, we have a different message that plays that opens security checkpoint back up.
I wonder if that's the one that once in a while plays by itself. This is a security breach of the.
Let me show you something here. Let me log in as a security person. This button right here that says security breach. There's all your messages. Close airside. And you have to have the right password to get that menu. Yeah. That's why I had to log off. I logged on as an airline and I had to log off and log on. But all those mic stations, everything is protected. So you can say American Airlines can do this, and Midwest can do this, and Delta can do this. And they all have a password. They log in, they only get what they have permission to do. They can only play their own flight messages, and they can't get to anything like that. But your TSA or security people can log in, and they'll get that information. And that's a big thing, for making sure that the wrong thing doesn't play the wrong place.
Well, that's one of the biggest problems we have right now, because we have the 4-button stations, they are not secure.
Yeah.
And anybody can go and start.
Oh,
taking
sure.
stuff.
Yeah, these things, you can log off. What I did, there's a log off button on there. Or you can just, if you don't use it for 30 minutes, we normally have them set up where they just log off. So we figured nobody's used it, so it logs off. You have to log back on. Also, after that time, I think these are set for 15 minutes, the backlight goes off on the display. So it doesn't just sit there and it attracts attention, first of all, but secondly, the backlight is the limiting factor in that LCD display. It's just like the backlight in here is going to go out way before the LCD itself will. So it's just no sense in pulling current, you don't need to. Any questions on that? All right, let me find one I can play with.
Any of those messages programmed in there, are they all in there too?
Sure. You want me to play one?
I just do it right here, right?
Sure. I can do it from here. I'm not sure where I've got it set up to play. But I'll play it somewhere that
Attention, please. The Transportation Security Administration has closed the security checkpoint due to a potential security breach. You will be advised when it reopens to process passengers for departing flights via the public address system. We regret any inconvenience. Your safety is our first priority.
Now I can do the one for airside. Did I put in the right number? Must not have. Where's it playing?
Where's their side?
I don't know. I don't know what I've
We're
got.
evacuating D right now.
Always have this fear when I'm hooked up to some airport's database. What I was doing. I think that's right. It says it's not though.
Put it to 90.
Huh?
Put it to 90.
Oh, no. That one to 1.
Let's try this one. Maybe one of those are good.
That one worked to zone 1. You can just play it there. Doesn't really matter where it comes out of.
No, I guess not, yeah. None of them like that message number. Let me see what I've got in here under that message. I got them all according to these things. There we go.
Attention please. The Transportation Security Administration is evacuating this area of the terminal due to a potential security breach. Gather your personal items and proceed past the security checkpoint immediately. You will be advised when you may return via the public address system. We regret any inconvenience. Your safety is our first priority.
Normally what we do is play that every minute, or whatever time we think it'll take to clear everybody out. It doesn't hurt if it plays for 30 minutes, because everybody's gone. So, just like when I started that message, those messages in Cincinnati, they were set to play continuously while I stopped them. So when the emergency was all over and everybody could go back upstairs, I went up there and they were still playing. And that was a good 30 or 40 minutes later. It doesn't hurt anything, everybody's gone, right? If they're still up there, they ought to get out. Okay, I'm gonna stop those so they don't play again. Unless you all wanna hear them again.
What's the timeout on those now?
What's the time?
What's the time between?
1 minute.
Uh,
This one here is 5 minutes. We'll let them play one more time.
won't get in the way.
No, it's okay.
While we're doing that, I'll
Attention please. The Transportation Security Administration is evacuating this area of the terminal due to a potential security breach. Gather your personal items and proceed past the security checkpoint immediately. You will be advised when you may return via the public address system. We regret any inconvenience. Your safety is our first priority.
see the fault that came up on the screen here? If I went and looked at that fault, it says channel 1A ground fault. So all I'm doing is grounding one side of the speaker line. So. And clear all that out, because it's not grounded anymore. Now, while I'm here, I want to show you one more thing. No, that's
Attention please.
all right.
The Transportation Security Administration has closed the security checkpoint due to a potential security breach. You will be advised when it reopens to process passengers for departing flights via the public address system. We regret any inconvenience. Your safety is our first priority. Attention please. The Transportation Security Administration is evacuating this area of the terminal due to a potential security breach. Gather your personal items and proceed past the security checkpoint immediately. You will be advised when you may return via the public address system. We regret any inconvenience. Your safety is our first priority.
See the colors lit up there on the air side? You could have a graphical display. We just picked this out of somewhere and put a few zones in there. But you can have a graphical display of all the announcements going on. You can see what bike stations making the announcements, and emergencies are going to show up in red like that. So, I barely caught that.
So just a common, what, you have everything set up on there already?
Huh?
So just picking up the mic or change it to right now?
No, I didn't put any gates in.
Okay.
But
Oh, there you go.
The local time is 2:30 p.m.
let me get right and make normal announcements.
Just pick a concourse or.
Yeah.
Is that clock announcement something that our current system is capable of doing?
What's doing right now? Over time tone? The time?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't think we have that set up.
Well, I thought it
No,
was.
they have to have-
Boss
they have to
didn't
have-
like it.
Huh? No. Originally, Benny wanted to set up to every time a gate agent triggers the mic, it goes ding dong. And,
Oh, you want a pre-announced tone on?
They want. Really, he wanted to try the pre-announced tone, and apparently a lot of the airlines didn't like that.
Well, especially in area, you go down
If
the
you go to
sea.
Europe or someplace, every system we have over there's got that.
They got the
I don't know, other than Miami, who has it in the US? Miami has it, that's the only one I know of right off.
You go down the sea, people start killing.
oh yeah, people will say like, ding
They're trying to make
dong,
so many
ding
announcements.
I'm not sure you want to do anything that Miami does.
Yeah, something.
Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4,
Let me
5,
just-
6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. See it lit up that D concourse? But it would light up gates, the mic station, the gate, they'd light up the same color so you can see what all was going. It's just like, what you have just lights up numbers. This would actually light up physical parts of the airport. Okay, I'm going to go over to the Titan frame, which is this amplifier frame here. This is where you have different things that are a lot different than what you have now. I've got some announcements playing the zones that I don't have speakers up to, and you can see the announcements playing out there. What happened to my little screwdriver? This would show you, I switched off an amp. You'll see that showed up red, now it'll turn yellow because the backup amp came on and took its place. So you see right here, it says card 1 backed up. And I put the mouse over this. It just says card 1 fault. And if I go over the other ones, it actually tells you the model number of the amp. So you can see which model amp you, and all these got the same model number. Now, if 2 amps had failed, you're going to get red. If you go over the second one, card 2 is faulty, doesn't have a backup. And we've got faults showing up all over the place down here. But it takes about 2 seconds to switch that over.
And they have that capability now to do the back, they just don't have all the monitoring with the new hardware.
But don't have all the monitoring and everything to show that.
Right.
The other thing that we have now, well, if you had an all-digital system, you have 3 ACSs here. If it was all digital, you could have a 4th ACS that's just sitting out here online, and if any one of those went down, it would automatically switch the backup in. What it does, the backup actually assumes the IP address and all of the one that failed. And it was about 90 seconds it takes, something like that, for it to switch over. How long it takes to switch over, how many is dependent on the number of ACS. If you have 8 ACSs, it's probably going to take 2.5 minutes to get all that sorted out because of the number of ACSs it has. Records, it's a time it takes to define which one it went down, and all the information gets around. Here's what one channel looks like. Okay. what you have, this is the signal flow across the top up here. You have the inputs coming in, the zone manager, the EQ, like you've got 8,000 EQs. This is the equalizer, there's no EQ curve set up in here. But you got delay if you need to use it. The ambient noise channel looks like this, and that's the signal going through there. And I've actually got this channel in automatic, and I haven't demonstrated that because it's probably turning up and down on me. But here's test points, meters, the D to A coming out, and the amp, and these are all monitor points. If you had a monitor speaker, you could monitor all the different sections of that. And this shows the level and all going through the system. And you can see this level here changing. That's with me talking, that's its sensor. So that's the Titan series, how that works. Now we've got, what, 3 flights up there on the departure screen down there, and they're all going to gate D41, so here's a gate display for D41. There's actually a Northwest flight, an American flight, and a U.S. Airways flight. You probably would never have that, but there are airports that do have that. But most commonly used, you've got commuters here that all share the same, several of them are running out of the same gate. Do you have that or not?
Not as far as the commuters too much.
Not so much.
You don't have
Coaches on the
2 flights at one time out of the same gate?
No.
You don't have that, okay. Some are,
Well,
well,
under code share,
Code-share flights,
yeah, under
sure.
code share flights. I mean, you know.
no, I'm not talking about coach air. Like you went to Houston, they've got the 80 gates.
Mm-hmm.
They could have 2 or 3 or 4, you know, up to 4 flights going out the same gate.
Well,
Chicago, O'Hare does that.
we
Yeah.
have D52 right now that we do, which have 4 doors.
Okay, it's got 4 doors,
4 doors, and four possible departures.
and you got 1 screen for the gate.
But not anymore.
So,
Not
so-
anymore now.
No, 'cause
so
no
that,
longer
that,
on
that
board.
just shows how that shows up on the screen. And if you look at this mic station, let me log back on that security guy. We don't need him anymore. What's one of those flights?
Northwest American.
There's an American on there, okay.
4172.
I just logged in as American. If you look at the screen, you'll see all 4 of those flights on there. And you see up at the top of the screen, you see the AA here? That means I logged in as American Airlines. So I can't play the other 2, but where the American is, see where this says next departure? If I hit this here, it's gonna, here it is.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to American
what's the name?
Airlines Flight
What's the name?
4172 with service to Chicago O'Hare. If you already have a seat assignment, you are all set. We will begin boarding
There's a
in a
sensor
moment
back here in the
using
back.
the group number printed on your boarding pass. As a reminder, everyone shares the overhead bins on the airplane, so we ask
down
that
on
you
the bin
take only
screen, the
one
check-in
carry-on
pops up.
item and one personal item, such as a purse, laptop, or backpack. If you have oversized or additional items, please see the agent at the counter. We will be happy to check them to ensure they travel on this flight. This will help expedite the boarding process.
Now I logged in over here on this mic station as Northwest, and I can come over here. Let's just delay the Northwest flight. Here I'll delay it over here so you guys can see what I'm doing. Well, what I have to do is go over here and log out, log back in. So now I'm at Northwest. It says NW there. Over here to the next screen where it says flight delayed. Now let's delay with the time. Hit select. What's the Northwest flight number? 185. 185.
This is yours.
I don't need the airline code. I don't need the gate number. What was that departure time? We'll make it 15:10. And why is it late? Oh, The aircraft got in here late. Late arrival of the aircraft. I can just hit 3 enter. And it will delay the flight. It's going to delay it down there.
He's entered in on check.
Ladies and gentlemen, we regret to inform you that Northwest Airlines Flight 185 with service to Minneapolis-St. Paul will be delayed due to the late arrival of the
I hope it didn't
aircraft.
do that at the
The
airport.
expected departure time will be 3:10 p.m. Thank you.
Now you see that flight down there says it's delayed? The gate display says it's delayed.
Okay.
So it's
Yeah.
pretty sophisticated and very localized, so you're not doing stuff out of your way. So it's safe that way. So whoever log in, because everyone will have their own pass.
Sure.
Did you understand what all it is?
Specifically.
Yeah. That'd be a question, I mean, these guys realize if they use it or not.
That's what.
Well, that's the thing, that's what we push, see, that's the,
Oh, yeah, I mean, definitely, because I mean, we're going to use it system-wide, you know, have
I mean,
a
it's
standardized system.
right, exactly.
I mean, it helps
I'm
fix
good.
it helps fix some of the complaints that we have right now of gate agents grabbing that thing and no one can understand.
Exactly.
Well, you have a gate agent, you have a big wide variety. You have some that don't want people to like it all. You have some that think they're disc jockeys.
Yeah.
They want to go on and on and on about the same thing, you know.
Arnie, what airport was it that they went ahead and just took the mics off? Was it Hilo? Or,
Yeah, Hilo did that, but, well, Hilo left them on, they just didn't use them anymore.
right.
Montreal took them off. Well, the reason Montreal took them off was there's this English group and the French people up there in Montreal, and everything's supposed to play in English and French, and Montreal's supposed to play in French and then English, but they wouldn't follow the rules. So what they did, they just took the mics off, and all they had was this. So now it plays in French and English like they got it the way they wanted it. In Hilo, they have got a Hawaiian Airlines. Well, they got 2 gate agents working. They're working the ticket counter. Oh, well, here comes the flight in. They both run out to the gate. Leave the ticket counter unattended. They meet the plane and get the people off. As soon as they get the people off, they load another group on. Then they go back and work the ticket counter. And they're running back and forth. Once they got this installed, the one agent went back, and where it said arrival, as they got the jetway door, they'd hit the arrival message, and it would play telling everybody the flight was in. It'd also start the thing telling everybody where their baggage was at the baggage. They go let the people off. As soon as they got them off, they hit next departure, and just take tickets because they had it timed. The next departure played every single thing, and that's what I was doing in Cincinnati, was timing so they could just hit next departure once for the Comair flights. So they got it down to one agent. Then they got the one agent the ticket counter. And once they did that, when I was training them to even use this, you never know what they don't know. So I get through the whole training, and this one girl says, well, I've got a question. What was that push-to-talk switch you were talking about? They'd always had a phone system. They'd never had microphones. They didn't know what this was. So you never know what they don't know. But they did. If you go there today, they rarely ever pick up the mic. I don't even think they know the mic's there anymore. They just arrival message and next departure. Or if it's delayed, they know how to do the delay. And we can do gate changes. What mic station was I operating from? Which one did I do the American from? That's been over. We'll go on and do the Minneapolis. Let's just start the Minneapolis one. One other thing here, I've logged on is, see where this says, there's all the messages that are in this announcement sheet. Pre-boarding, early boarding, boarding rows 25 and higher, 20 and higher, 15 and higher, 10 and higher. And I'll come back here. I can step down through these. But this shows you every message that you got in there, and you can go select any one of those. We can come back over here and just select rows 20 and higher, and it'll start playing at 20 and higher.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for waiting. At this time, passengers seated in rows 20 and higher
Now, if
may
you
now
look at
board
your bid
through
screen
gate
down there, you'll see it saying
D41
boarding and
and
it's-
have your
it's all
boarding
been
card
20
in
and higher.
hand for presentation.
Rows 20 and higher?
And it's specific to each airline too. If the airline has a different boarding procedure, it sequences it the same way.
But like American boards by groups, and some board by rows, some board by using seating areas, and they've all come up with everything they can think of to be different.
Well, you also have the ability to change between boarding sequences.
Yeah.
For example, Delta boards by zone. So if they get a flight that comes in late, and as they're cleaning the flight, they want to clean it from the back forward, they can go ahead and start boarding by rows just by selecting a separate
Yeah.
sequence.
Yeah, you said it, Delta does that, like in Honolulu, they do that a lot. They'll get a big 747 or something in, if it's late, they start boarding rows, and it actually, the way theirs is set up, they normally board by zones, but once they go to the rows, it asks them what rows they want to board, so they're getting row and ending row, they just put in these blocks of rows. And everything, if you go to Honolulu, you need to go over and see this, because this is what's in Honolulu.
I think we should.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a fun airport to do. Thing you have to get used to.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for waiting. At this time,
Automatically gonna do the
passengers
rest of it.
seated in rows 15 and higher may now board through gate D41 and have your boarding card in hand for presentation.
What happened to presentation? Something paused. But you're in a gate over there, people just sit there and look at the displays.
So, can you, just the same as paging, can this be localized, just in the local area? And also-
Yeah, this is like, this screen here is like what would be at gate D41.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what that is. There's just one, if you go to Honolulu, they got 2 in each gate, but that's a gate display. You know, you have gate displays here now, and you've got a little box there where you program what goes in them. You can do it all right from here. You don't have to.
When you actually configure the gates in the system, you can tell it what zone and extended zone those belong to. So you can have a gate assigned to just that speaker zone within the gate area, or that gate in just that section of concourse, or however you want to configure it.
And the signs are zoned, so you can pick that sign or adjacent signs, whatever you want to do on the signs too.
Yeah.
Currently, when gate agents of one section makes an announcement, it is close enough for guys from this gate to hear it.
Good afternoon, ladies and
So,
gentlemen. Thank
same
you for
thing
waiting.
would happen with
At
this
this
one.
time, passengers
They-
seated in
they-
rows
they-
10 and higher
they-
may now board through gate D41 and have your boarding card in hand for presentation.
I didn't get that. What did you say?
Page into two areas right close to each other.
Oh, right side by side?
Yeah, and then an announcement will come. They both have departure at the same time,
Yeah.
unless it may play at the
If
same
you're in
time.
between, it's kind of confusing.
Yeah.
Well, this helps where you only see the text on one screen. The other thing that we can do, and I don't know if we've ever actually used it, where we block out the surrounding gates. You know, while I'm making an announcement here, I blocked out those other 2.
Yeah, that way overlapping.
Yeah, but then that means they have to wait, and then you still.
Well, and also, Hardy, can't you, if they're doing the pre-recorded
Yeah,
announcements,
Right.
you'll preempt the other on it.
yes, right.
So if you have 2, if you're familiar with, okay, you talk and it's live.
Yeah.
Or you can press the mic and you can record while you're talking, and then when you release the mic switch, it goes ahead and plays the announcement.
Right.
In that case, where you have 2 right next to each other, if one picks up the zone before the other does, it'll hold that other announcement and preempt it. And then when the other's done, it'll go ahead and play the next
Yeah,
announcement.
that's if it's recorded, yeah.
So therefore, you've got intelligibility.
Yeah,
on both sides.
we do that at PFW.
Good afternoon,
But
ladies
those
and
are all
gentlemen.
recorded ones.
Thank you for waiting. At this
We're
time,
getting close to
passengers
the end.
seated in rows 5 and higher may now
Okay, while we're
board
going
through
through
gate
that, courtesy
D41
announcements.
and have your boarding card in
Yeah, but-
hand for presentation.
Information desk, where you're playing courtesy announcements, or how do you page people to meet their party, or somebody's left something at security checkpoint,
Yep, central passenger assistance desk.
and they just make a page? What about something left at security checkpoint? That happens all the time.
TSA.
Usually TSA at the.
They got a bike station?
They do have mic system, but usually it's localized to the concourse area.
All right. Let me demonstrate something here too. Okay, somebody left something at security checkpoint. Let's say they left their wallet there.
And this is just a web-based application he's running that can be run from any location.
That's going to change that screen down there to our bulletin boards. Item left security.
Attention passengers, a wallet has been left at the security checkpoint. I repeat, a wallet has been left at the security checkpoint. Please return to claim your item.
Now that's the text-to-speech engine. Do you all have any use for other languages?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for waiting. We are now boarding all rows on Northwest Airlines Flight 185 with service to Minneapolis, St. Paul. Please have your boarding card in hand for presentation.
I wanted to show you what happens when the final boarding call plays. Because it's going to pop up on this bulletin board too, the final call.
This is the final boarding for flight 185.
Yeah.
Unless it's air traffic, so you said in the final boardings.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Close the door in 30 seconds.
Do you ever need it Spanish or any other languages here?
Not currently.
No.
Last time I said mom. We talked about that.
You're not. You don't have any flights going into Canada.
Yes.
We do, but not a need to
Not
multilingual right now.
need for French.
Not right now.
No. You must be going to Toronto or someplace.
Yep, nothing to
The
Montreal.
further west you get, the less they want to hear about the French.
Yeah.
All right, let's say somebody got to meet your party, and we have to type in the person's name.
We were showing us down
And-
at O'Hare Field, and one of the fellows had this very strange, long, awkward.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is your final opportunity to board Northwest Airlines Flight 185 with service to Minneapolis, St. Paul. Through Gate D41, all passengers should now be on board. On behalf of Northwest Airlines and our SkyTeam partners, thank you for choosing us today.
And that's set up to play to a bigger area. Now you'll see the final boarding call list. See Northwest 185. Please proceed to Gate D41 immediately. Usually these things are scattered around the airport. And
You can also define which gates show up on which displays.
yes, right, yeah. Here's a meet your party, Steve Youngby's.
Paging Steve Young, please meet your party at the information desk. I repeat, Steve Young, please meet your party at the information desk.
Do you have white courtesy phones here for people to pick up their messages? You do? Okay. What was that?
Good language, Marty.
All
They're
over
different
the
languages.
place. Come on, Brian. You should
Oh, you want a different language?
Well, yeah, show them what it can do.
So Dave typed in this Polish guy's name, and
Okay.
it had EZK, and it came out perfect. And I said, boy, it's gonna murder your name, and the guy's looking at this, the system demo at O'Hare, and it spit out his name, one of these long Spiskies, and it said it perfectly. And we didn't think it had a chance.
Then you put it in
Just luck.
Smith and it comes out Smythe.
With an E.
Yeah. Smiley.
All right, now I typed in a Spanish name that the English folks don't pronounce it correctly. So English people-
Paging Julio Martinez, please meet your party at the information desk. I repeat, Julio Martinez, please meet your party at the information desk.
Llamando a Julio Martínez, le esperan en el centro de información. Repito, Julio Martínez le esperan en el centro de información.
Yes, that's correct. It's the same damn thing.
English, that's
Oh, come on, right here.
Okay, here's your white courtesy phone message.
Paging Jody Green. Please pick up a white courtesy phone for a message. I repeat, Jody Green, please pick up a white courtesy phone for a message.
Just that essential.
Now, you're doing all of that through a console.
Yep.
That could be in your office, that could be at the information desk, it's just a web app that you could run, it's just licensed per seat that you can run anywhere.
Now, there's Denver, Orlando,
But
and
some of those I wouldn't think could very well be the type of announcement that you would want to make from a gate.
you could make it anywhere.
Gates have those.
You can also have a workstation at the
Yeah.
gate.
Honolulu has 62 workstations, one at every gate, just like that. Because there's so many people get off over there looking for tour groups, things like that. They're always looking for people.
But even if there's a common one that you see that's not in our system, we could program a button for it and make it a standard mic station announcement.
Oh yeah,
as well.
you can just, whatever you want these announcements to say, you can just type it in, put it all together. You can do free text announcements.
Yeah, but if you don't want to use that system, you just want to use a mic station, we can tailor custom ones in there for that as well.
Well, we have here what we call batching. If you look up there, you'll see 3 white courtesy phones on the screen over here.
Yeah.
Well, the Jody Green one played, and I've got it set up every 5 minutes. It's going to play every name that's in there. And if somebody calls in and gets their message, and when you deliver the message from a workstation, then it pulls that name out of the list. And you can have set up to where it only plays this thing three times. It keeps the name in there 3 times or 4 times, however long you want to keep it in there. But Denver, Orlando, a lot of these airports, this is what they use most. Because Denver used to have 8 people at a mic station. And what they would do, they would write these names down as people called in. And then somebody would go around and get the list from everybody and go make a page with all these names in it. Then they, 5 or 10 minutes later, they'd go around and do the same thing again. And once we put this in, they're down to 2 operators. Because they didn't have to keep track of all this anymore. And there's a history on every bit of this. Every one of these announcements, there's a history on it. Exactly who you paged, at what time they picked up their message, or they didn't pick up their message, where it played, everything's all in the log.
Did you get that, Rand? You can't blame me, we made the message, we said it 5 times, this time. If you were there, you would have heard it.
You missed it, it's your problem.
There's been lawsuits at airports, like Orlando got sued because some guy missed a meeting, it cost him $1 million job, and he said the airport didn't page him, and they couldn't prove they did. The meeting was changed, and he didn't get the message. I don't know how you lose a lawsuit like that, but there's lawyers out there. The lawyers and the insurance companies. What we have, this screen here is a current announcement. You see the 3 in red, that's the 3 courtesy announcements that are waiting to be played when this time period comes up again. I can go click on Jody Green over here and just deliver the message, and it'll drop Jody Green off that screen. See? So he called in, got his message, so I took him off the screen.
Paging Mark Beeler and Ken Tench. Please pick up a white courtesy phone for a message. I repeat, Mark Beeler and Ken Tench. Please pick up a white courtesy phone for a message.
But a lot of these are the screens that sit around the airport, airside and landside. And you're walking by, you didn't hear the announcement, that you see your name up there. It tells you, you left something security. Well, you got to meet your party at the information desk or pick up a white courtesy phone. Meet a tour group. The tour groups, like in cities like Hawaii, will have the tour groups. Actually, all of Hawaii airports have the tour groups things. That look like something you could use? You have the heart of it. All you need is the software and the workstations.
The local time is 3.